Welcome to episode 6 of Destroying My Bathroom while my husband's out of town so he can't tell me no. Here's where I left you off last episode. We had just finished up the trim, and now we're going to be doing the finishing touches for the trim and then talking all things paint for this area. Well, all the trim is up now, and now I'm going to prime it. So because this is solid wood, you do need to get a primer that is meant for that. You can't just use a regular wall primer. I am using Kills brand, and it is meant to go over solid wood. You need a specific kind of primer because if you don't have that, it will chip off of the wood eventually, all the paint you put on, and sometimes you'll see a little discoloration seeping through from the wood. This is going to prevent that. It's going to make the paint stay on, and we'll be able to put our color over top of that. Let's get started. I have already put primer all over the walls in the bathroom, and the reason I didn't wait to do the primer after the trim was installed is because you need a special primer for solid wood. So I opted to use old primer I had at home and then go in with the Kills just because I don't like using it on all the walls. It is a very heavy and thick paint to deal with. There's nothing special you need to know about it, but it definitely is a lot heavier than a regular primer. And you only need to do a one coat of this primer on here, and then you're good to go to put your regular paint over top. I had no intention of adding any more trim to the lower part of this bathroom, but then just for fun, I put this piece on the ground, and I think it just makes it look so classy. I'm gonna just add even more trim now. I feel like the limit for trim does not exist. Can't tell me this doesn't look better. I think it just makes it look way more rich. I'm really excited. Adding trim to the baseboard at the bottom is exactly how we added the trim to our walls. We're just cutting it at a 45 to 45.5 degree angle and then making small adjustments until our corners fit together perfectly. This is probably the most tedious part of any renovation, and that is filling all your nail holes and caulking all the seams. When I'm going in and doing this, I'm just doing it with my finger because of the trim we went with. The trim has a ton of little grooves and it's just not possible for me to use a putty knife, so it's easier to go in with my finger. Whenever I do this with my finger, it is pretty sore at the end because I'm pushing so hard, but it's a necessary step in this renovation. Thankfully for the baseboards and trim work that's flat, I'm just going in with my putty knife there and I'm really pushing it into those nail holes so it's nice and full. I truly believe that adding more trim work just makes a space feel way more rich and luxurious, but you do need to keep in mind all the work. It's not just putting it on the wall. Next steps are crucial as well to make it look really good and make it look professional. And I did decide to take my finger and fill in all my seams too. I will be caulking on these lines, but for right here, I'm going to use my finger. For previous projects, I have used some caulking in those seams just because I felt like I couldn't sand it down to make it look perfect. But I did pick up another little sanding block and it's pretty flexible, so I should be able to sand in those grooves really nicely. And that's why I opted to do the fill with my finger instead of going in with the caulking. Now let's move on to caulking. When we are doing this, we are doing the top of the baseboards around the entire box because we don't want to see a line there at all. And I'm doing this before my final coat of paint because I did get the type where you can paint over it, so it's just going to make it look so seamless. A hack I love for caulking is if you put a bowl of water with a little bit of Dawn dish soap in the dish and then you do a caulking line, and then to make that line nice and smooth, dip your finger in that bowl with the soap and just run it along where you just did that line, and it smooths it out really nice. The soap prevents it from getting stuck on your finger, which is the nice part about that. We are officially ready for paint and I'm so excited. I went with a creamy white for this room, and my original plan was to color drench the space. I think I'm going to start and then we'll see how it looks and we'll go from there. But this room is just coming to life. I'm excited to get started. I'm in my painting gear and I'm ready to go. The color I chose for the bathroom is Oatmeal by Dulux Paint. I will put the color code in the caption of this video in case you like this color as well. And then you can take that code to your paint store and they can replicate it for you. Right now I'm going to go in and cut in all the trim, cut in all the corners and the walls and stuff, and then I'm gonna roll everything after. I've been sharing little Easter eggs of tips and tricks that my grandpa has taught me over the years. I do in fact have a painting trick, but it's not applicable to this space, so I'm gonna hold back on that one for now. You're gonna have to stay tuned, which might be evil, but I also have to give you guys a reason to keep coming back. The first coat for this section is on and I am really liking how it's looking. I think it's gonna go good with the wallpaper, but we'll see. But yes, I'm very happy with the this color choice right now. The only bad thing about having trim on the wall and painting it is you tend to get a lot of drips, and drips is just when there's excess paint and you've put too much, so then it's dripping places. So I cannot stress this enough. When you are painting trim like this, make sure you are triple checking your work because you don't want to see those drips. I triple checked my work and I still found drips, which is super annoying. You have to go back and scrape them and repaint. Don't use too much paint. Double check your work and you'll prevent this from happening. I am officially done painting. I am loving this color. I'm hoping it goes with the wallpaper, but we'll see. And I couldn't be happier. This looks really good. Really, really, really good. I don't even know if you can tell over the camera how good it looks, but it looks very good. Yeah, and now we just need to figure out how to put up wallpaper. So make sure you hit that like and subscribe button so you don't miss out on next week's episode of renovating my bathroom while my husband's out of town, so he can't tell me no. And I am also posting the final reveal of this space, so you're not going to want to miss it.